Hi YouTube, welcome back to the channel. It is Brianna. I'm back here again with another YouTube video. This video is going to address a pretty big question that has been asked multiple times on the channel, and I probably should have done this video a really long time ago, but I've decided that I'm just going to make it a kind of short video that's going to encompass basically the timeline of your enlistment process to get into the military. The beginning of this process may translate to the other branches, but I only know the Navy's process. So first and foremost, the number one step you're going to do is talk to a recruiter. You're going to need to find a recruiting station close to you and either get in contact with a recruiter basically through email, call them if you can FaceTime with them. If you wanted to, just go straight up in person and just talk with them there. It's usually easier to just go and talk in person so you actually get the face-to-face and you already get to like meet them and stuff, and they like can put a face to your name. Either way, talk to a recruiter. Step 2 is going to be to start your paperwork process. Personally, and how it works for like my recruiting station and stuff, what we did first is like a mini questionnaire that you fill out on your own, just with guidance. It's super basic information so that they have something to kind of lay out what all they're gonna have to do with you. It sounds bad, but it's just part of the process because everybody's lives are different and everybody has stuff that they've gone through in the past that makes them unique in their process. So this is going to ask basic questions like your name, full legal name, you know, how old you are, when's your birthday, where do you live, where are you from, and then it's going to have like a little box questionnaire. Have you ever done drugs? Have you ever drank alcohol? For ladies, it'll ask about your menstrual cycle. I think one of the questions was like, do you have any sort of health problems where you need to take medication? This goes for mental health, ADD, ADHD, have diabetes. Those are kind of like the main things that people have talked to me about, is kind of on that spectrum. It'll also ask, you know, a good phone number to contact you, and have you received your high school diploma or your GED? If not, why? And do you have like a college degree and all that? After you get through that little bitty questionnaire, they're gonna send you off into like big paperwork world. It's basically this huge stack. I think it's like 20 something pages of like your basic like background check history. So it's going to be a little bit more in depth of the questionnaire. It's going to be, you know, it's going to ask you more personal questions. It's going to go into like employment history, if you've had any credit problems as far as finances go, where like you've owed money to the government, to the IRS, if you have gotten your degree, like where you've gone to school. So like it'll go from high school, college, or if you've gone to like a trade school. And also if you've had any criminal problems, i.e. getting arrested, or you have a felony that's been documented on your record, and any instances where it might have been a big enough deal for you to be involved with the police and it has been recorded somewhere. This is your chance to come clean about that kind of stuff, and if you've had any problems with drug use in the past. So after that, basically they go over this with you a couple of times. You do have to sign certain security forms saying that, you know, this is all the truth, that you are consenting to a federal background check to enlist into the military. This is also where, if you need a security clearance, this is also where they might decide to pull you off to the side and ask, you know, if you're interested in high intelligence fields jobs or special warfare or anything that might require you to get a security clearance or a top security clearance. This is where they're going to talk to you about how that process works. After that is all complete, they're going to go through the extent of your medical history. If you've had any medical problems, like if you wear glasses and stuff, this is usually where like the waivers will start to pop up. If you need them and your recruiter can recognize them right off the bat, instead of waiting until you go up to MEPS to be told you need to get a waiver, so that you can get those submitted up early. For some that have medical problems, you might need to do a med read, which I had to do. It takes anywhere from a few weeks to a few months, which could lengthen your process, but usually if it's not that bad and you're doing well and there aren't any problems afterwards, usually you're fine. All right, so step 3 is going to be MEPS. I have made videos on MEPS already where I go into a lot of detail. That video is like 30 minutes long, I'm sorry. I tried to like block it out so that you guys could see exactly what portions of MEPS you want to do. So this is going to be a little bit of a rundown. MEPS is a 2-part process. This is usually where the majority of people will take an ASVAB in order to enlist in the military. To any branch, you are needed to take an ASVAB or the PICAT. The difference between the two is that they encompass the same amount of material and the same type of material. It's just the PICAT is not timed and the ASVAB is timed each section. So you have a certain amount of time to complete each section. This covers all certain aspects that are just supposed to see what altitude of the test you're in. You can find multiple videos on the ASVAB test. It's been a while since I took the ASVAB, so I'm not going to go into the details. You haven't already taken the PICAT or the ASVAB. Usually the PICAT is offered, or a practice test. A practice test is given when you are doing your paperwork. They will usually give you a practice ASVAB test to see where you are at and where your scores already lean. They can give you a good indication of what jobs you might actually be interested in and what your altitude is for, so that you can try and mesh the two so that you find a job that you like and a job that you're going to be good at. MEPS, like I said, is a 2-day venture. It is usually the closest processing station in your area. It could be a couple of minutes away, it could be a couple hours away, but usually it's a 2-day process. The first day is going to be background check interview. They're just going to ask you a few questions about yourself that you've listed on your background check, that big stack of paperwork. They're going to ask you questions about that and go over it with you to make sure that everything is right. If you have any last minute changes, that they can change it for you there. Just make sure everything is right the first time so that they don't even have to check it and you don't have to worry about it, because it's just more time. This is also where you're gonna take your ASVAB test. You will take it in a little secluded room. It's on a computer. You have X amount of time to do it, and whenever you're done, you just sit in the lobby and wait until everybody else is done. But since it's a time limit, everybody can be done at the same time. If you finish it early, just wait. And you're usually given your results to the test not so far after. At the latest, it's going to be the next day. So after you take your ASVAB test, you're going to be sent to a hotel. Don't want to drive back and forth to MEPS. Usually it's best to just stay in the hotel. You're going to stay in a hotel not too far from the MEPS facility. They will feed you, and right now with COVID, I believe everybody is still getting rooms to themselves. So you'll stay in the hotel overnight. You'll wake up the next morning. The next morning is going to be all about medical and getting your physicals done. Usually this is where a lot of people are not dropped out, but they're disqualified on medical, vision, hearing. This is usually where all those waivers come into effect. So basically, they're going to do a entire physical on you, and they're going to make you do a couple of exercises, which I mentioned in the other video. And at this time, you will also be running up and down with paperwork going from the liaison's office. Once you pass through medical, whether that is you have to come back a second time like I did, or you are doing this the same day, once you pass medical, you will be able to see your liaison, and you will immediately go into your job pick. You will be able to pick your job based off your ASVAB score. They will give you the jobs that you are most adequate for as far as your altitude goes. So if you're more mechanically inclined, they'll give you a list of more mechanic-y type jobs. If you're more computer skills, they're going to give you something that maybe deals with more computers that you might be interested in. If you're not interested in, always pick the job that you want. If your job isn't available, you do have the choice to walk away and come back again, but you're not always guaranteed that job. You usually have a variety of jobs to pick from. If you don't have that wide of variety, you can always ask to see why. They give you a choice of days to ship in that rate. Like when I signed my first contract for EM, which is electrician's mate, they had days in May, June, July, August, and September. I think the earliest that I wanted to go was June, so I picked a June contract. They're random days out of the month. They usually have at least one every month. Some jobs, if you want to leave earlier, only some jobs are available within weeks. So if you're looking for something that's going to make you leave immediate, it might not always be the job that you've always wanted. So it's good to take at least 5 jobs with you that you might want to MEPS. After you pick your job, they're going to tell you a little bit about the job. Sometimes they're gonna actually give you a contract to sign, and you will sit there and sign it in front of your liaison. They'll tell you your active duty obligation. After that, you will go into your background check interview, real interview, and your fingerprints. So you'll get your fingerprints. You'll do a clearance interview, and then once you clear that, you will usually have lunch, and then you will take your oath, and that is the end of the day. You leave MEPS after that, and you get all your little stuff or whatever. That is basically the entire process of enlistment. Once you've picked a job, once you've selected a job and you've selected a rate, and you've sworn in, you will be in DEP. You'll be in the delayed entry program until the day that you ship to your boot camp or basic combat training or whatever. And that is it. In DEP, they will worry about everything else to prepare you for boot camp, i.e. your physicals, your weight, and all that. But this process does vary from person to person, i.e. my process was a lot different. It took me a year to join the military. Well, not join the military, but get into DEP. And some people, it's taken them a few weeks. So it's a little bit different for everybody, but the process is mainly the same. So I hope this addresses a lot of the comments that you guys have asked. I hope this video helps you guys get a general timeline of what to do. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I am making another video soon. Enjoy the rest of your day, you guys. I'll see you on the next one.